The eldest daughter of the Shen family fell in love with an underground idol who suffered from heart disease and threatened to break off the engagement with me, a scientific research expert. In order to protect her status as an heir, I personally donated my heart and soul to cure the underground idol and made them a couple. But after the underground idol was cured, he claimed that he had depression because of it and jumped off the building in a dispute with the eldest daughter, causing his legs to be paralyzed. A few years later, the eldest daughter took charge of the Shen group and spent 300 million to marry her beloved, and I was pushed off the roof by her. She said that only if you die, Yan Shuan's depression can be cured. You should feel honored to exchange your worthless life for Yan Shuan's recovery. I died and opened my eyes again. The eldest daughter broke off the engagement with me without fear of the secular world, so of course I chose to fulfill it. When I opened my eyes, I was sitting in the VIP seat of the live house, surrounded by the young men and women of the group. On the stage, Yang Xion was wearing a very revealing outfit and singing Love Alive indifferently. His cold voice matched the style of the song, and the contrast between his half-covered abdominal muscles and his clothes made many women cheer. The VIP seats were very close to the stage. He glanced at me with emotional eyes, and my back was still cold after the wind from the rooftop. Roses were thrown to his feet by the audience, and he stepped on them mercilessly with disdain in his narrow eyes. In the previous life, Shen Hong hated me because of him. I couldn't figure it out at the time. As a technical backbone that Shen relied on, even Mr. Shen Han would call me Mr. Tin. How could I not be better than a third-rate idol who made a living by selling smiles? Perhaps because of this, I had been giving endlessly to Shen Qing in my previous life, wanting to let her see that Qin Yuan could crush that little idol in every aspect. Until she killed me with her own hands, she used such an absurd reason, which made my life even more ridiculous. I want to live again and see what they can live like without me. Are all underground idols so pretentious? His level is at best considered a high-end male model. If the male model I ordered had a droopy face like him, I would have asked the manager to change him. Shen Hope is really blind. Can such a guy charm her? He is not even as good as Ken Yuan's toes. But Shen King is willing to give up her status as the heir of the Shen family for him. Maybe it's true love. I just didn't expect that she is still love-brained. I leaned back in my chair and listened to the people around me mocking Shen King without saying a word. In my previous life, I was still speaking for her and was given the name of a suck-up in the circle, so that many people used her name to bully me. Yan Shuan finished his song on the stage and walked straight towards us. In his previous life, he sternly asked us to respect him and Shen King, but was knocked down by the arrogant and domineering Jing Shao with a bottle. When Shen King arrived, she saw Jing Shao stepping on Yan Xian's hand and saying harsh words. She couldn't afford to offend Master Jing, so she had to vent her anger on me. She slapped me right away. Qin Yuan, is this your method? I didn't expect you to be such a vicious and scheming man. Then I explained and apologized in fear, trying to please her with my tail between legs, fearing that she would misunderstand, but in the end, she still pushed me off the rooftop. Yan Shuan walked over step by step. I was thinking about how to deal with him, but he was stopped by a pair of delicate hands. It was Shen King's sister. After all, Shen Hunqi is the real eldest daughter of the Shen family, but Mr. Shen prefers Shen Hongpros, always been out of the power struggle. You sang well. Let's listen to a few more songs. Shen Hunqi said with a smile. Her eyes didn't seem to be looking at people, but more like looking at the object that pleased her. Yan Chuan was used to being flattered by fans, so naturally he didn't look good to her. She opened her thin lips and said, "Thank you, but I don't want to." Zheng Huai Shanzenshu's face turned cold instantly, and she glanced at Lip House's agent. The agent immediately came over. Even though Shen Yanxu was not the heir, she was also the daughter of the Shen family. How could a mere idol dare to offend her? The agent pressed Yan Shuan's head and apologized repeatedly. Shen, she frowned and muttered, "Spoil the fun," poured the champagne and the glass on them, and turned away. Shen Hong arrived as expected. As soon as she came in, she saw her idol bowing to Shen Yunxi in embarrassment, the wine flowing down his distinct collarbone, the already small amount of fabric clinging to his body, the corners of his eyes stained with light pink due to humiliation. But his spine was still proudly upright, like a pine tree that could not be broken. She stared at Shang Hongqi, then looked at me as if she had figured something out, sister. No matter how much you try to please King Yuan, he is only willing to be with me. Don't waste your energy targeting a small idol. And Kan Yuan, are you just going to watch my people being bullied? Why don't you take off your clothes and put them on him? Shen Hein King waved her hand, signed a check, and handed it to the agent. Yan Xuan doesn't need to bow to anyone in the future. Dee was full of confidence and spent money lavishly. After all, she had the support of the entire Shen group behind her. But what if I didn't want to be the bond between her and the Shen group? I stood up under Shen Qing's dissatisfied eyes, raised my wing glass and knocked it. Everyone is here today. I, Qin Yuan, have something to announce. I'm sure you all know that Miss Shen Qing is deeply in love with Yan Xuan here, and I don't want to force anyone, so my engagement with Shen Qing is canceled. But I can't let down the Shen family for their training. From today, Shen Yuanxi is my fiancé and the future heir of the Shen family. I drank the wine in the glass, and Shen Yun, she raised the empty glass to me. Happy engagement. I seemed to see tears in her eyes, but in a blink of an eye she returned to her cool appearance. People in the circle applauded. They had tolerated Shen Qing's eldest daughter's temper for a long time. Now that I am no longer on good terms with her, I don't know how I will step on her down and out daughter. Shen Qing's face changed instantly. She didn't care about calming Yan Xuan down and asked, "Are you going to marry Shen Linxi?" Why? It was you who broke off the engagement in the first place. Miss Shen wouldn't have forgotten it, right? It doesn't matter if you forget it. People in the circle will remember it for you. My friends laughed and nodded. Xiang Ping bit her lip and squeezed out a few words. How could she be the future heir of the Shen family? Mister, whoever is my King Yuan's wife is the heir of the Shen family. I took the black card returned by the manager and forced to smile. Goodbye. Zhang Huixi came up and gently held my hand. Her hands had some calluses, not like the hands of a pampered young lady, but they were very strong. She said to Shen King, "You'll regret it, right? Don't cry and beg the Shen family to give you some favors when you have no money to spend." With her as the first move, friends also began to ridicule Shen Ping. Most of the Shen family is conquered by King Yuan. Why is Shen King pretending here? If King Yuan wasn't a good person, Shen's family would have changed its name to Qin. Look at that Yan Xuan. Is he still willing to follow Shen King and pretend to be noble? I don't think he can get anything out of it, so he ran away in 3 days. Isn't Shen King's brain not good? If she really becomes the heir, Shen's family will be finished sooner or later. Shen shone the backstage. Xiao Han, she also, let go of my hand at this time. See you later. The news that Shen King and I broke off the engagement spread throughout the circle. Everyone knew that she was no longer the heir of the Shen family, and they rushed to step on her to please Shen Shi and me. And it's easy to go from frugality to luxury, but it is difficult to go from frugality to luxury. She was used to a luxurious life, and it was time for her to taste the bitterness of life. I know she is holding back anger. She was praised highly by me before, and she forgot that she would fall down too. Her attitude towards me is the best proof of this. Shen Hong Konger has an unlimited black card, and she was not invited to celebrity gatherings. The few invitations she received were sent by people with whom she had a grudge, who wanted to see her laugh. She seemed to push all of this onto me and sent me a message. "Kan Yuan, do you think you are so great? I will never bow down to you." This reminded me to block her. A message popped up in the air group. "I met Shen Qian Chuan in the mall today. They seemed to had a quarrel, and it was really ugly. Eat melons. I heard that Yan Xuan has been used to being supported by Shen King for a long time and spends more money than any of us. Wasn't he supported by Shen King in the beginning, when he spent millions and millions of dollars? I was jealous. Did he spoil his appetite?" I watched the messages in the group go by, and the only thing left in my heart was the relief that I am still alive. I realized that my friendship with Shen King had long disappeared when I fell from the high building. Looking back, I don't understand why I was obsessed with her in my previous life. She was just a spoiled, arrogant woman with no redeeming qualities. I had no intention of getting involved with Shen King, but her mother brought her to me and said, I'll bring Shen King to apologize to you. Although she said she was apologizing, Shen King leaned on the sofa. Her mouth and eyebrows were full of reluctance. Before I could refuse, Shen's mother spoke first. Shen owned ignorant, and she has been spoiled by her father since she was a child. She did not do well this time. Yan Chuan is at best an actor. She was dazzled for a while, but she actually has you in her heart. Why you have to be angry about such a small matter? Please forgive her this time. I can't stop her when she is stubborn. Just wait until she swallows her anger. By the way, please talk to her father and let him restore Shen Ping's status as the heir. Now she is stingy even when she eats, and I feel distressed when I see her. Shen's mother still put on the airs of a rich lady, and a series of words of shirking responsibility made me annoyed. Previously, I was respectful and tolerant because she was Shen Han's mother. I didn't expect that now this mistress would climb over my head and pretend to be an elder. I took a sip of tea slowly and said with a faint smile, Dream on. Shen's mother's smile froze on her face, but she still said with a stiff face, Ken Yuan, Aunt I knows you are angry. How about this? You marry Shen King, and I promise that Yan Chuan will never appear in front of you again. Even now, she still regards this as a benefit. Seeing that I ignored her, she poked Shen King and motioned her to speak. Shen Kong paused, playing with her mobile phone and sending messages. She waved her hand impatiently. I know I was wrong, okay? There are more things to do than women. She never apologized to me in her previous life, but now she seems to be sure that I will forgive her. In the past, she made mistakes again and again, and I just dealt with them silently without saying harsh words. I don't know when my love and tolerance for her became her weapon, making her feel confident. I said, Shen Kong, I advise you to clarify your position. Now you are the ones who are begging me. Haven't you always responded to my requests? I am willing to come to you. You should be happy. As soon as I said this, Shen's mother glared at me fiercely. Mom, didn't you say that? Why are you glaring at me? She muttered in dissatisfaction. I laughed in anger. Shen Huoping, take your mother and get out before I call the police. She pouted and said in the complaining eyes of Shen's mother, in this case, you must come when Yan Shuan and I get married. I was stung by the blatant malice in her eyes. Please don't be absent from my wedding with the heir of the Shen family. Shen Kongfi left with Shen's mother. I went to Shen's group to start working. In my previous life, I spent too much time on Shenping, and the development of new virtual technology was slow. I was diluted out of the core circle and expelled from the research team. Under her persuasion, I devoted myself to research, and finally the Shen family was the only one left in my circle of friends. Shen's parents complained about me, saying all the time that Yan Xuan took the endorsement and earned millions, but they forgot that after he became disabled, it was all thanks to me running around to get sponsorship and package him as an inspirational idol. I don't believe that the Shen family knew nothing about what Shen Ping did. They must have felt that I had no use, value, and didn't want to offend the heir, so they pretended not to know. Perhaps this is why Shen Ping killed me without hesitation. In my next life, I will use the experience of my previous life to harvest the fruits of new technology before anyone else and change the name of Shengun. On the night of hard work in the company, I met Sheng Hyun-shi in the elevator. She was wearing a slim white suit and was obviously surprised to see me. I hesitated for a moment and said, Thank you. Thank you for what? She had a bit of a president's posture, and the three words were full of aura, which made me at a loss. Thank you for speaking for me that night at the Love House, I said. She smiled, and her of a cold queen disappeared. It's my duty to speak for my fiancé. She looked at me straight, and the dimples on her lips were like small hooks. If anyone wants to say thank you, it should be me. Thank you for choosing me as your successor. I felt my face instantly get hot, and I reflexively looked away. I'm glad you don't hate it. She pushed her long green curly hair behind her ears, shook her head, and her emerald earring swayed gently. I like it very much. Such straightforward words made me dizzy. The elevator was about to arrive, and I said, Then I'll go to the laboratory first, and you should rest early. As soon as I finished speaking, I got out of the elevator with a red face, and a chuckle came from behind me. I didn't dare to look back and rushed to the laboratory in a muffled voice. It was not until I held the experimental equipment in my hands that I gradually calmed down. Since then, she would come to the laboratory to find me every few days under the name of inspecting work. Every time she came, she would bring a small gift, sometimes a cup of coffee at the right temperature, sometimes the latest scientific journals. It was not expensive, but it showed her care. She likes to call me Fiank frivolously, but she gives me enough respect in words and deeds. When those bright eyes look at me, it seems that she is really deeply in love. I had been overwhelmed by her straightforward love more than once, but I soon sobered up. Maybe she treats me well because no one in the Shen family likes her. If she wants to be the heir, I can only rely on her. I heard from a friend that her mother died of illness when she was just 3 years old, so Mr. Shen regarded her as unlucky. After her mother's first 7 days, the current Shenpa mother brought here old Shen King into the house, and since then she has no place in the Shen family. Thinking of this, I feel bored for no reason. I shook my head and threw her out of my mind for the time being. No matter what the reason is, I will take Shen's into my pocket. With the experience of my previous life, my research went smoothly. When I left the company with the research data, Yar Chuan came to meet me. It was only a few months since I last saw him, but he seemed to have aged several years. There were dark blues under his eyes, and his wrinkled shirt was half tucked into his trousers. As soon as he saw me, he knelt down, Mr. Shen, I'm really sorry. The smell of cheap shampoo rushed into my nose. I didn't know what he was talking about, so I had to ask, "Why are you apologizing to me?" He gritted his teeth and his voice trembled. "Please let me go. Live House won't let me perform anymore. My agent would rather pay the penalty than terminate my contract with me. Now I have been blacklisted in this industry. I will never be with Miss Shenhubang. Please let me go." I pointed at myself. "Are you talking about me?" Yan Xuan raised his head. His expression of enduring humiliation and bearing heavy burdens was pitiful. "Except for you, I haven't offended anyone. I feel that with your personality, you should have offended a lot of people." Yan Xuan froze for a moment. "I just don't want to be laughed at." I took a few steps back. "So you are willing to kneel here to beg me, but don't want to be laughed at. Your self-esteem is quite strange." He quickly stuck to me and just lowered his head to confront me. I ignored him and got in the car and went home. As soon as I woke up the next day, I was flooded with messages from my friends. Someone filmed the scene of Yanshu and I meeting in the company parking lot and posted it online. It became popular overnight, and a certain video platform had millions of views in just one night. The title is full of popular elements such as capital, idol, and love triangle. When you click on it, you can see that I am high above and Yang Xuan is crawling under me. Although he is dressed in shabby clothes, he is still handsome. It is not difficult to see that the publisher of the video is not only from Yan Xuan's side, but also a master of video editing. In just a few minutes, I was portrayed as feudal evil capital, while Shen King and Yan Xuan were Wu love that is not afraid of the world, and countless netizens supported their love. Someone recognized that this was the parking lot of our company building, and I was King Yuan, the head of Shen's scientific research. Yan Xuan told the love story between him and Shang King and me, the villain who got in the way in the newly opened live broadcast room. He said that because I persecuted them to the utmost and made them worried every day, he suffered from depression. He said that because I persecuted them so much and made them worried every day, he suffered from depression, cried all day, and wanted to commit suicide. There was a thick stack of medical records and half a page of Lucastini on the table in the live broadcast room. I stayed in Yan Xuan's live broadcast room for a long time, watching him use that face to hook the sympathy of passers-by and push the crime to me by turning black and white. The barrage of comments passed by. If Yan Xuan really committed suicide, then King Yuan is the murderer. I feel sorry for my brother. I also bought things from Shen Group. I will write a bad review and issue an invoice now. Bad 1. I just placed an order yesterday and I will return it now. Let the stinky capital see that we ordinary people are not easy to bully. The live broadcast kits were sent like war, but I don't know how much of these profits Yan Xuan will get in the end. Zhang He Song Ko came at this time. She is now the acting executor of Shen. As soon as the call was connected, I heard her say, "You are late, Fiang Fiang." I felt a little guilty. Had you seen that video? After all, it was because of me that Shen's was caught in a storm of public opinion. She chuckled. "Are you hit by those rumors? Then I can, on the basis of humanitarianism, not deduct your bonus." I said, "You thought I would let you stay out of the spotlight and finally make a big deal out of a small matter and let time erase the memory of the internet. You did nothing wrong, so you don't need to accept the punishment." I sullenly said, a little touched. "Come on, I have prepared the best sea salt caramel cookies for you today," she said. As soon as I entered the company, I received a lot of looks, some sympathetic, some disgusted, and some gloating. Xinhuan, she was waiting for me in the laboratory. When she saw me come in, she immediately came to greet me. She didn't wear a formal dress today, but a purple long skirt. Her white jade-like collarbone was exposed, and she wore a wisteria-shaped diamond necklace around her neck, which made her look bright and beautiful. The distance between me and her was less than 10 centimeters. I could even feel the breath of her nose through her thin shirt. I felt a little uncomfortable under her cat-like eyes and asked, "What's wrong?" She took a step back to distance herself and said, "See if my fiancé has stolen the little pearl." Then she winked at me and said, "There will be a good show to watch today." The high heels made a crisp sound on the floor, and the sound seemed to step on my heart. "The cookies are here. Remember to eat them," she said and closed the door of the laboratory. I soon understood what she meant by good show, and the video public opinion between Yan Shuan and me had a follow-up. During lunch, the official account of Shen's group released a video and also attached a picture and text summary from my joining the company to help Shen overcome difficulties and obtain most of the shares to breaking off the engagement with Shen King, and even supplemented the confrontation video of the night of the live house and the complete surveillance of the parking lot. In the video, I am a backbone who has made great contributions to the company, and also a passionate man who is let down by Shen King. Finally, the page endlessly lists the luxury goods that Shen King bought for Yan Chuan, BRV under their names, and points out that a lot of the money she squandered was company funds, and she was ordered to return it, otherwise she would be held legally responsible. Previously, she was holding the identity of an heir, and no one dared to say that she was not, but now the situation is very different. As soon as the video was released, it immediately became a hot search. Only then did netizens figure out the true love they were talking about was a domineering eldest lady and day mistress. Not long after, someone dug out the discrepancies between the two videos and urged Yan Xuan to prove himself. But Shen King was extravagant and ostentatious in showing her love, and everyone in the circle knew about it, so it was easy to find evidence in my favor. Netizens who felt they were being fooled were furious, and dug out the Weibo accounts of Shen King and Yan Xuan. Yan Xuan's live broadcast room was also reported and banned. Related discussions increased rapidly. "I work like a slave for the company, but the boss brought his mistress to buy a Mercedes-Benz. From this point of view, Yan Xuan deserves it. Both he and Shen King are shameless." The kneeling before was also a staged photo, right? I also gave gifts, and the clown turned out to be me. Maybe it was a gimmick directed and performed by the Shen family. At this time, Shang-Chi held a meeting and mentioned the engagement with me, and the Shen King I knew as the real eldest daughter of the Shen family. She appeared in a purple dress, shining in my eyes. Netizens are used to seeing the official tearing each other apart, and this is the first time they have seen such a meeting. She advised netizens not to blindly follow others and to be rational. She left a message at the end. "I targeted Yan Xuan because I can't stand good people being bullied. This matter only concerns me. Please don't disturb my fiancé." The public opinion reversed instantly, and a large number of netizens began to say toward Shenghun, "It smells so good. I'm so envious. I also want to be protected by the domineering sister. The title of fiancé is so doting. Shenhyun, she is so beautiful and cool. She can't aim you directly." I stared at the comments praising her, smiled unconsciously, and sent her a thank you. She replied in seconds with a picture of a heart puppy, which was cute and playful, and asked me to have dinner with her tonight. I'll choose the restaurant to treat you, just to express my gratitude. If it was just to please me to be the heir, would it be necessary to go to such great lengths? I recalled that in my previous life, I ran a version Shen King and tolerated her temper, but ended up like that. Comparing it with Shen's reserved kindness now, I felt a little uneasy. She seemed to really like me, but this liking was for no reason, which always made me afraid that she had other plans. Shenlun, she booked a hot restaurant on Student Street. At mealtime, the restaurant was crowded, and all the dishes she ordered were what I liked. I asked her the steaming hot pot, "Why are you so good to me?" "Because you were very good to me in your previous life," she said with her cheek in her hand. I was stunned for a moment, and suddenly remembered, this is the restaurant I brought her to in my previous life. At that time, Sheng Pang took out her anger on me because of Yan Xuan's illness and drove me out to buy chestnut cake. I Sheng Hyun-shi, who was soaked all over on the street. At that time, I had no intersection with her, and I only knew that there was such a person in the Shen family. Seeing that she was particularly sad, I treated her to a hot pot meal and ordered all the dishes I liked. I left with a sentence: "These dishes are all my favorites, sharing with you," because Shen King was still waiting for the cake. This is a trivial matter to me, and I just remembered it now. I swallowed and asked, "You are also reborn?" She nodded. "In my previous life, I became a great painter. I returned to my country to repay your kindness, but I heard that you fell to your death. I found out that it was Sheng Hong killed you. I regretted it at that time. Maybe if I had come back earlier, you would not have died." Her voice was a little trembling, which made my heart ache. "How did you reborn?" She looked at me deeply. "Do you know the system?" "I made a wish to the system to save you." She smiled and said, "Then I was reborn." "With what is the price of your wish?" "The price is that I lost my talent for painting and I can never lie in front of you." "I see." So she would stop Yan Shuan before he came, prepare all the evidence to help me, and treat me well without reservation. "Is it worth it?" I asked. "Of course. Everything is worth it for you, not to mention that I became the heir of Shi's family, which is a huge profit." Her luxurious dress was particularly harmonious in the small restaurant, as if she was supposed to sit here, as if we were supposed to be together. I swallowed the last bite of food and received a call from Mr. Xianmar. "Hin, I understand that you are Shan King, but she is my daughter after all. I don't have time to deal with these things. In addition, the virtual technology I exclusively developed has achieved initial results, and I want to increase my stake by 10. Mr. Shen hesitated for a long time, gritted his teeth, and said, "Okay, but just think of it as a thank you for my cultivation of you. You come forward to help Shen Kong clarify it. She has been spoiled since she was a child. How could she have suffered such hardships? Just teach her a lesson." I recalled his indulgence of Shen King in my previous life and said coldly, "I didn't swallow up Shen's family, and I have already repaid your cultivation. You should take good care of your daughter." After hanging up the phone, Xing Shen, she was eating my favorite beef balls across the way. I said, "Let's get married in a few days." A hint of girlish immaturity appeared on her face, but she soon turned back into the look of relaxed female CE. "Okay. I think I will have enough time to remember more of her in the future." At Shenhan Shi Andai's wedding, the patrolling bodyguards caught Shen King, who wanted to break in and make a scene. In order to ensure that she had a perfect wedding, the bodyguards I hired eliminated all factors that might ruin the day. I didn't want to let any trouble dirty her eyes. She protected me before, and now it's my turn to protect her. After the wedding, I went to see Shen King, who had been making a fuss. "To Yuan, I know I was wrong. Can you give me another chance?" She was held by the bodyguards and looked at me with tears in her eyes. "Are you using the same trick again? You found out that Yan Chuan is not good enough, so you took over." There was a flash of resentment in her eyes. "I didn't know Yan Chuan went to find you. He is a dog who only eats at home. I support him and provide him with food and clothing, but he is fooling around with other women behind my back. I wish I could kill him with my own hands. In addition to being rich, how can that woman compare to me? Wait until I become the heir of Shen's family. And see how I play with her. Then she looked at me affectionately. In fact, I have always had you in my heart. During this period of time when you were not by my side, I realized how important you are. I love you, Shen. She have not yet obtained the marriage certificate, and I am willing to marry you. Haven't you always wanted to marry me? I saw that she was getting more and more crazy, so I quickly asked someone to call Mr. Shen from now on. Don't let me see her. Otherwise, your dividends will not be so easy to get. I said to Mr. Shen, who looked at me then at his most beloved youngest daughter, sighed, and left with Shen King. Some people in the circle said that after Shen King returned home, she kept clamoring to marry me and said that Shen's would be hers sooner or later. She even climbed through the window to come to me and was almost sent to a mental hospital. In the end, the Shen family had no choice but to send her abroad to be strictly supervised by foreign psychologists. Half a year later, the virtual technology I developed was officially launched, and Shi's group was officially renamed Yuan Group. In just 3 days, the stock price doubled and continued to rise. Countless orders from partners flew in, and even the country sent a letter of commendation. This technology made China's science and technology far ahead of the world. She handed over most of her shares to me, lying on the balcony hammock conducting this lie to me. Being an heir is too tiring. I prefer to spend my retirement days with dividends. I hugged the big orange cat and said, as long as you like, anything is fine. The big orange cat struggled to jump onto her and was hugged by her. In the sun, the cat in her arms was like a glowing golden dandelion. She looked up at me with love on her face. During this period of cohabitation, I gradually realized that she did not like the days of staying in the company. She prefers freedom to money and power. 3 years later, I sold most of my shares, drove a motorhome, and traveled around the world with her and the big orange cat. Reborn again, I must live up to this life. The hurts that were once in the name of love will eventually be crushed in time, and she and I will eventually move towards our eternity in freedom and light.